Okie doke. Good morning. Just getting myself situated. I'm gonna just adjust some stuff like that, and I think I'll put this here so we can see it while I'm working on it. Right there, right? There. Okie dokie. So good morning. Nobody's here yet, but I'm saying good morning for the people who watch this later. Oh, hey, Jules. Good morning. Today, what I'm going to be doing, a couple of little things. I'm going to make some more dishcloths. That's one of the things that I know I can make quickly and that works as an easy stocking stuffer for Christmas gifts. I'm using this as a template, a dishcloth that I purchased at the Great Glebe garage sale last year. It's knitted, so it's not exactly the same, but I figured it was a good size comparison, because this one for me I find a little bit large, you know. Well, good, you're getting a set of 4. You're not getting just one. I'm making sets of 4 dishcloths, and then oh yeah, here they are. I lost them for a second. I'm making little scrubbies as well. So these ones will go for, like, you know, end of your day face washing. The good thing about these cottons is you can like bleach them and they handle it pretty well. So, oh, also Thunder just threw up. I cleaned it up, but he threw up on the floor for no reason. I think the cat scared him for too long. I wasn't watching, and the cat was keeping him from coming to me, and I think he just got nervous. So that's Monday. It's hot tea. So while I'm kind of, how tight do you do the stitch for the dishcloths? I would say tighter than normal. I was using a 5mm crochet hook, but I think that for the next set I'll use a 4mm. Oh, good morning. The farm was awesome. We had a really good time at the farm. What did we do? My mom and I did some organizing work. We got more. They moved last May, but they're still unpacking because they're waiting for pretty much waiting for my dad to put in a kitchen. So everything that's in the house can't get put into the kitchen until the kitchen's done. So it's all in a room upstairs. So we started sort of unpacking boxes that were half full, because as you unpack, you take out the things you need the most first, but then a whole bunch of boxes ended up being half full. So we just sort of like shuffled them around and ended up reducing the room by 7 Rubbermaid totes. So that was a good feeling. We got that done. We also obviously walked around the farm. It was pretty cold though, so we didn't do a ton of stuff outside. But then we went to my grandfather's house, which was really cool because every time I go to my grandpa's house, he tries to give me things, and I do appreciate every time. But this time there was some pretty cool things, and I'm not saying like he's just like throwing stuff at me. It's more like, do you see anything that you really like, because I'm not using this thing. This is one of those things. I found this Canadian Farm and Home Almanac from 1991. It says it was $2.95 up at the top way back then, and it's good morning. It's so cool because it has really detailed, like, I understand what an almanac is, like, vaguely, but I haven't ever seen one like in real life, and this is from 1991. It was just sitting in a drawer, and I'm going through it, looking at it, thinking, if you were a farmer and you bought this in the fall, like, you'd have it all winter, and you could read a page or two each day throughout the winter in order to kind of get yourself through winter, while at the same time preparing yourself for the following year. So like there's a whole bunch of pages that there's just cute little one-liners, little like poem type things, but like, you cannot change the past, but you can ruin a perfectly good present by worrying about the future. I just like these things. Honesty is still the best policy, but there aren't as many policy holders as there used to be. Just like cute little one-liners. So I thought I would keep this open while we were chatting, and then I would read some of the cute little advice one-liners from 1991 that still work really well, you know? Men blame fate for other accidents, but feel personally responsible when they make a hole-in-one. I just thought that some of these things are fun. Prejudice is a great time saver. It enables you to form opinions without having to get the facts. It shouldn't be necessary to blow out another person's light to let yours shine. I think that one is really important. And I think I'm in a bit of a space where I've been thinking about that a lot lately, that you don't need to have a loser in order to have a winner. And I think it's really hard for some people to understand that just because somebody won doesn't mean that you lost. It just means that somebody won. I find that in business a lot. It's always talked about as winners and losers. And it kind of extends to a lot of people for daily life. Even if it's just a conversation, some people consider that someone must lose in a conversation. And that's not the case. Everybody can be involved. Everybody can find something from that conversation. And I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately, that negativity does not help anyone. And it doesn't even help you. Like, when you are in a bad mood and you're mean to the ones that you're not meaning to be mean to, you don't feel good about it. Or just because you're making someone else lose doesn't mean you win exactly. So that's kind of like a thing that I have been, I don't know, overthinking a lot about lately. I've been thinking about my impact on individuals. You may have kind of picked up on that when I'm talking about how you shouldn't be rude to your barista, or you shouldn't be rude to the gas station clerk, because like they are just as valued as a human being as you are. And there's no reason for you to treat other people as if their opinions are worth less than yours. And I know that I've been guilty of that in the past, and I know that I will be guilty of it again in the future. It's not something that is perfectly healed in me either, but it's something that I'm trying to be conscious of. Also, I'm just weaving in ends, if you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get rid of the weaving in the ends. But I think it's something that I'm going to struggle with my whole life, but I'm happy that I'll struggle with it rather than just blindly behaving however it comes out. I'm trying to recognize my faults and my flaws, and I'm trying to recognize the things I see in others that I do not want to see in myself. I'm trying to see them very clearly, and rather than sorry, I need a pair of scissors. Rather than blaming that person and considering them whatever I consider them, I'm trying to use the things I see in them and saying, I don't want to see that in myself, and I saw that in myself once, or I don't want to behave that way, or I never want to make someone feel like I just saw that person in line make that cashier feel. The fact that you can identify those things is important. Oh, hi, Fun with Rain, by the way. A lot of people find that very hard to do. Yeah, it's true. I think that is true. And I think that, Julia, you and I have had this talk several times. It's good to have someone who can have your back for it too. So knowing what I consider my flaws to be, I can tell Julia's my sister, just in case you were reading the comments. My sisters, I can be sure that if my behavior gets to a point where I wouldn't be proud of the things that I'm doing, my sisters would step in and say, this is not okay. This is reflecting not you. You're not reflecting yourself. And I think that it wouldn't be said necessarily that way because my sisters and I talk casually to one another. I think it's something that we've all promised each other, is that we are going to keep ourselves away from that kind of behavior as much as we can as adults. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, my building is texting me, telling me that the elevators are broken again. Great. Good thing that Alex works for the government, so today he gets to be home again, because it was Remembrance Day yesterday. If you're not in Canada or the States, I don't know if you have it the same. I think in the States it's Veterans Day, but it was 100 years since the end of World War I yesterday, so there was a lot going on in Toronto. But yes, back to it. I think that I'm coming to realize who I want to be and who I don't want to be. And I think that knowing what you don't want is just as important as knowing what you want. I think that's something that people tend to forget, that they say, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. Well, do you know what you don't want? Do you know who you do not want to become? Because that can really help you pick the direction to go. For example, I know that I don't want ever to have my behavior affect Alex negatively. I don't want that. I don't want my sisters to not want to see me like because I'm like rude to them. So I don't do that. And if I find, for example, my little sister Julia, she and I have a really good relationship. I would say we see each other often enough. I mean, we FaceTime all the time, and she only lives an hour or so away. So we see each other fairly regularly. Good morning, Hiba. I'm expecting and want to crochet some other stuff for your baby. Oh, that's awesome. That's so exciting. January baby, so it's going to have to be all warm stuff then. That's one of my goals is when I have kids, is to try and aim it to be in the spring so that I can have them like outside and not have to worry about extra warm things. But at the same time, every baby's a blessing. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. You'll have somebody to keep you warm in the wintertime. I do have a couple of baby tutorials on my channel already. If you're looking for like baby booties and mittens, those are my two most viewed videos. And I am working on a baby bonnet, but I don't want to release the video until I get the pattern proper. So that should come out probably in December, realistically. But yeah, my little sister and I, we get along swimmingly, I would say, for the most part. But at the same time, we fight very differently. So now that we're aware of that as grown-ups, like when we were younger, we would go, what, Jules, 2 weeks without talking to each other, living in the same house, because I'm a yeller and Julia is not. Julia doesn't fight like me. So if I fight with her, it doesn't work because all it ends up is me yelling at her. So we don't find a solution. My older sister, on the other hand, fights just like me. She's a yeller. So she and I can just scream at each other and say all kinds of things. I mean, we don't say too many things. Like I wouldn't ever say that I hate her or anything like that. Like that's not that kind of fighting sort of scares me. I don't like putting things that can't be unsaid, I guess, or I try not to. But anyway, my older sister and I fight very similarly. So it's always fine if we scream our heads off at one another. The following day, we both have healed from it. That's how we get out what we're feeling, is by like expressing it. Whereas my little sister, she doesn't do that. She needs time to decompress. That's how my mom works too. She needs time to decompress on her own. And I think it's like the introvert extrovert thing. So my mom and my sister are both introverts, which is hilarious because they're both teachers, which is just, they are both like the most extroverted job, but as like their soul, they're both introverts. After every long conversation, they need a bunch of quiet time to sort of recharge. So like my mom, she's a reader because of that. Her reading is like time for her to sit quietly and recharge. And I think that it all worked out fine because as grown-ups, we've kind of come to understand that. But when we were younger, it was hard to understand why I couldn't just sort out a problem the way I thought was the right way. And I think now looking at it, I've got my father, my sister, and I, my oldest sister, my father, and I, we're all fighters. We're fire and we're rage. And when we're fighting. And then my brother, my mother, and my little sister are all introverts. They don't really fight. I don't think I've ever fought with my brother ever. He doesn't engage in fighting, so it can never go anywhere. And I think that's kind of what I found in Alex, is that he's not a fighter. He's definitely a lover, but he doesn't get fired up the way that I can. So things can really bug me, but he sort of takes everything in stride. Oh, that happened, is how he kind of sees it. Yes, it happened. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just something that we have to get through. And I think, Julia, you kind of nailed it right on the head there. Communication is literally everything. So the reason I understand that my little sister cannot handle a conflict the way that I do is because we talked about it. The reason that I understand how Alex and I communicate with one another, or not communicate, the reason I understand my communication style is by communicating. By consistently trying to figure it out, eventually you're going to figure it out. And I think it's really important, even if you're not with a partner, even if you're not with talking about your family, or even if you're just talking about like your day-to-day life, know your own communication style, because that is an effective way to succeed in life, I think. I wouldn't know from direct experience because I haven't quite succeeded yet. I'm still on my way, but I think that it can't hurt to know your own communication style, know what you need out of a conversation, because some people don't really need to have two people there for the things they need to vent out. Like when Alex comes home from work and I just want to talk and talk and talk about my day, it could literally be like if he what I love that he's there and I love that he's the one I'm talking to, but like it's like he doesn't even need to be there. I'm just needing to get out what I'm talking about. And he understands that. So he'll sit and listen. And then it's his turn. And then I sit and listen. So I think knowing your own communication style is healthy. And knowing your fighting style, I think, is important too, because you may be with someone that doesn't fight in the same style as you, and that you're not helping by fighting the way that you do. Even though you think everything like is going fine because the fight ends, you might not be fighting in the way that your partner, friend, family member is fighting. So knowing your fight style, knowing your communication style, and knowing your love style. So for example, your love language is how you, exactly, when you became partners with Andrew, Julia, you had that conversation. Like, I don't want to hurt you. Oh, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, there's a whole bunch of you here today. Hello. But knowing your, okay, so we went over your fight style. You should know if you're a yeller or a crier or a hider or if you're mean or if you're not mean, or if you can't take being mean when you're in a fight. You should know those things about yourself, write them all down. And knowing your partner's fight style, like have a talk about it when you're not fighting. Hey, how do you usually find yourself feeling when we're in a fight? Do you find yourself feeling like you hate me, or do you find yourself feeling like you hate yourself? Or do you find yourself only thinking about the thing you're angry about? Or maybe are you, like when I'm angry, my brain, the little librarian who lives up there, she goes nuts and she pulls out everything from the past. And now that I'm aware of that, I don't voice that. So even though she's going, remember when he was late for this? Remember when he didn't bring that when he said he would? Remember when he didn't put his clothes inside? Like my brain will bring up all those things, but it's important to go like, no, what we're talking about today is this conflict. We're not talking about all of those. But my heart brings up, oh yes, that's natural, totally. My heart will bring up things from the past. So I'm aware of that about myself. And I think being aware of your fighting style and your partner's fighting style and discussing it when you're not fighting is like eye-opening. Like Alex and I just don't really fight because we're both aware. Like when I'm starting to get bubbled up, he can feel it. So he just deal with it. I think another thing that's important is knowing your love language. So if you don't call it love language, call it whatever you want, but know how you give love and how you receive love. I think those are really important points that a lot of people miss until way later. So some people receive love through gifts. That's how they feel the most love, is when they receive a gift, they understand that as accepting someone's love. Other people prefer like a written word, like if someone will write them a letter and put a letter every day in your lunchbox, that can be how other people receive love. Some people receive love through touch, so that can be just like simple, like being with your person. And this, okay, have a good day at work, Jules. I will, yeah, I'll text you later. So have a good day. And stay strong with all those children. And so, okay, so your love language. Maybe you receive love through like quiet acts of kindness. So I know that Alex, one of the ways that he gives love is through his small acts of kindness throughout our home. So like when we have had a conflict, Alex usually washes all of the dishes. And now I recognize that that's his way of apologizing for something that wasn't his fault. So usually our fights are not his fault. I'll start with that. Usually we're fighting because I'm like a little crazy. That's just how it is. And when the conflict is over, usually Alex will do all of the dishes. And originally that would irritate me. Like when we got together, I would feel as though you never do the dishes until we fight, and then you do all of the dishes. But now I'm recognizing that it's not that he never does them, it's that he always does them after we fight. And it translates to the action is connected to the fighting. So one of his things that he does for love is that he completes a task that he knows that I hate completing to show me that he cares about my happiness. And now I'm recognizing that. So, and I also recognize that my love language often has to do with food. So I love to cook for the ones that I love. So when I cook a meal for Alex, I make the whole thing with love, and the idea of it is that he is going to receive my love that way. So he understands that now. So when we got together, he would just scarf down his meal and say like, good. But I mean, that was 7 years ago. So yeah, he was inexperienced back then. Whereas now he understands that when I'm cooking, it has to do with me appreciating and loving him. So he will participate now when I'm cooking. He'll come around into the kitchen. What's going on? What are you doing? Oh, I love this. Oh, it smells like garlic. Like just by adding his little personal touch to my cooking, I experience love that way. So I'm not a gifts is not how I receive love, which is, I think, good. It ends up being cheaper for us, but it's not how I experience. It's not how I feel it. So I love receiving gifts. I love Christmas. I love my birthday. I love that sort of thing. But for the most part, how I receive love is not through getting a thing. I would rather go out together and do a thing than just get a thing. And I think that has to do with the fact that I don't really see the permanence in gifts anymore. So like I love my ring because that is an everyday part of my life. I like my mugs because I use them every single day. So I like getting mugs as gifts. I like getting like yarn as gifts, but I don't really need, like, for example, when Alex wants to get me a gift, he gets me a pair of expensive sharp scissors. Do you know what I mean? Like something that he knows I'm going to get really good use out of. And so exactly, you love to cook and bake for your loved ones, and they can use it, and they can taste it, and they can feel the time and effort that you put into it. I think that it's food is awesome. But gifts, some people really do. That is the best way for them to receive love, and I think that that's an important thing to talk about with your partner too, because if you know how you are going to best receive love and you can communicate that effectively, then you will not feel as though your love is lacking in times when you're not able to communicate what you need. So if you can communicate what you need when times are okay, then when times aren't okay and you're having a hard time communicating, your partner already knows what you're looking for, what you need. And I think that's something that I have just been thinking a lot about, what makes Alex and I work. What is it? What is the one thing? And I know that we are early in our relationship in the grand scheme of things. We're at 7.5 years now. And thank you for your compliments. And I'm happy and I'm fulfilled, and I feel that I am like with who I was always meant to be with. And I know that that's probably just part of love in general. Like I know I've felt that way about Alex since I decided he was the guy for me. But at the same time, I still feel that way. And I think I still feel that way because we consistently talk about what we need as people, and we consistently talk about what we aren't getting, and what we are getting. We talk about what is hurting us from each other, from the people around us. Why do I feel like you're lying? I don't know, maybe because you don't know me. That's a pretty good reason, I would guess. That I don't know. I will say, though, that maybe it's because I'm always thinking about Alex when I glance away when I'm talking about him. But yeah, I don't know. I think that communication is definitely key. And I think that if you can communicate with your partner, you will have so much more happiness than if you don't. So I think that I am in this sort of bubble of, I have this number one guy who just really believes in us and believes in our world. And then you can leave, RB. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not really here for that. I'm not going to be replying to that sort of information. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I'm just here sharing. I love to cook and bake for my loved one as a way to express my love and appreciation. Absolutely. And expressing your love and appreciation is felt as long as the people know that that's what you're doing. So if you find that your family member is accepting and eating your stuff and loving it, that's awesome. If you find that you're not getting the response that you want, then maybe the next time you bake something, let them know that that's how you express love. Or maybe not when you're giving it. Maybe you, at a different time, you just mention that bring up the conversation of like, how do you feel love? How do you accept love? So I know that my mom's love language is also food, like most definitely. Whenever I get sent home with food, I didn't used to accept that as something. I used to think of it as like, my mom is feeding me. That's awesome. But now my mom makes food this week thinking that next weekend I will come up and then I get sent home with like a frozen thing of stew. And like when I see that, now I recognize that it's her way of showing clearly how she cares for us, because she likes to cook, she likes to bake, but by giving it away, I know that there were hours of work. Like if she gives me a jar of grape juice from the farm, I know that she had to pick the grapes, she had to pick all the grapes off of the stems, and she had to cook them and then strain them and then jar them and then pressure can the jars. Like that's a lot of work, and that took weeks and weeks because there was the collection of grapes. Like it was a whole huge thing. And so when I sort of accept things now, I see it more clearly as being for a reason and being for more than just a thing. I don't know. I guess I see it as a little piece of her soul goes into it each time. You know what I mean? Anyway, and yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about today. I'm thinking about how I accept love, give love, how I fight, how my partner fights, and how communication styles can be different but still functional. So Alex isn't a big talker. He just hasn't always been one. Or always hasn't been one, I should say. And I've always been a talker. I've been a talker since I was very little, and so I've always been somebody who I feel like I just need to kick this person out. Am I allowed to get rid of this one person? It's like, I don't really care about the things you're saying, and I'm going to put you in a timeout. There we go. Okay, so you get 300 seconds out of there. There, he's gone. I'm assuming it's a he, because all of his messages are about how I'm disingenuous and how there's no chance that any of this is real. For those of you who are watching and who aren't negative, I guess, thanks for being here today. But no, of course I'm not always happy. I will respond to that. Of course I'm not always happy. I'm not always sunshines and rainbows, but I will say for the most part, I am. I have like a roller coaster of emotion, and I can get really dark and then really happy. But for the most part, I would say if we're like a 1 to 10 kind of life, 10 being like the day you got engaged, and then 1 being like, I'm not even going to give examples, really bad stuff, then I would say I sit probably between a 7 and an 8 all the time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think being happy means you must be fake. I think that I just try to look on the bright side for the most part. And sometimes I can't. And that's when Alex comes in, because he reminds me that all of the beautiful colors of yarn exist and everything is all going to turn out great. And it usually does, to be honest. It usually does. Sorry, I just need a gulp of tea so I can get back to work. And that's actually why my name ended up being Last Minute Laura. It has to do with my oldest sister saying you try something and it always just sort of works out at the last minute. Everyone says, like, I don't know if Laura's going to be able to pull this one off. And then I tend to pull it off. And I think that that's kind of reflective of how I feel about everything. I'll just dive in and usually it's fine. So that's where I go. So no, I'm not always happy, but I communicate effectively with my partner when I'm not happy, and then we both work it out together and it all works out okay. So yes. But I'm going to read a couple more of those little one-liners from the almanac in a second, just because I feel like I need you to know about them. They're so cute and they're so true. Experience is a hard teacher because she gives the test first and the lesson afterwards. And there is no better test for a man's ultimate integrity than his behavior when he is wrong. So I think that that's kind of like all of these things really just reflect what I'm trying to say. Only a truly big person can graciously accept a favor he doesn't deserve and may never be able to repay. You know? No one should make such thorough preparation for the rainy days that he can't enjoy today's sunshine. So yeah, I like this little book. I've been reading from it because all of these little one-lining cutesy advice Confucius sort of things, they kind of all reflect the same thing. And the more that I try and find literature to support what I'm thinking, the easier it is to find. And I mean, I know that's the case with like everything. If you believe something, it's really easy to find something that supports that you believe it. But it seems like a lot of smart people say that you shouldn't sweat the small stuff, and that if you can, look for the good in things because it's there. And so that's what I've been trying to I'm trying to figure out what direction I want my channel to go. I'm trying to figure out what direction I want my life to go. And I think that I'm kind of figuring out that I want to be a positive vibe. I don't want to be bringing people down. I don't want the times when I'm feeling down, I don't want other people to be feeling down. And I don't know. I've just been thinking more and more about that, and that I think that whatever my career path will be, it will be one that has a positive impact either on people or on the world in general. And these are the things that I'm developing and growing with as I find my way in the world. And I think that the more I realize that I care about a lot of things, the more comfortable I'm becoming in the world as it is. I can get really concerned with the state of the world, and I can get really wrapped up with the animals that are extinct and the conflicts all over the place. I can get totally wrapped up in that and not think about anything else for a long time if I want to, but it doesn't help. It's not helping me. And one second, so true. Some words that come to mind are character, values, and principles. Totally. I think that what it is that I'm starting to figure out what my character is, what my values are, and what my core, not beliefs, but my core beliefs about people in general and my beliefs about the world in general. And I think that I'm coming to realize that things are bad in a lot of places, but things are good in a lot of places. And there is good in a lot of bad places. There is good anywhere if you look for it. And I think that that's kind of a message that my mom has always really perpetuated in my life, is that of course you can find the bad, but you can also always find something good. You always can. If you look, you really always can find something, anything. It can be something very simple, but it's like important. It's important to know that there is good. And I think that that's something that I wish I understood earlier. I had heard it, but I didn't understand it. So I wish that that was something I could have understood about myself, even. Like, I think in high school, when I was all concerned about my body and concerned about my appearance in all these general ways, imagine if I could have woken up and believed, like, there is something good. What is it? Find it. And if I could have said, oh, I like the way my eyeliner looks today, then there's something positive to focus on, as opposed to going like, oh, this pair of pants makes me look frumpy, or I didn't get enough sleep because I have rowing practice in the morning. Like, just the rather than focusing on all of the bad things, being able to refocus on the same scenario in a different way. I think that that's something that I'm trying to get better at the older I get. So, but at the same time, it's not just accepting everything as it is. For example, there's a troll who showed up this morning and tried to spin the conversation in their direction, and that's not what we're here about. We're here for positivity, and I'm not here to feel tested or questioned. I don't like that's not what I am on this video for, so that's not what I'm here for. So rather than just, I tried to ignore, but it was filling up my comments, so I made it stop. That's how I'm kind of feeling, is that like I don't have to put up with everything. That's not what I'm saying. But in a situation where I do not have control, rather than looking for something, rather than seeing only that, I'm trying to look at things that I can do, or that I already have. So here's another thing. If you're someone who deals with feeling anxious or any of those types of feelings that you may associate with those, thanks. I'm glad that how I responded was appropriate. I'm still getting used to the internet, and I don't know. So far, I had a really good, this is the first time I've ever had anybody interact with me in a way that I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. So that's, thanks for the support there. Oh, I lost my train of thought. So I'm saying anxiety. If, you know, with people who have like, who struggle with anxiety and panic attacks and stuff, they say that you should count, there's like 5 things. You should count 5 things you can see for real. And then it's like 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you know to be true. It's like if you can count yourself down through those, it's supposed to help you get out of that whole mind frame. But I feel like I just do something along those lines when I'm just having a rough day, but I do it down to lists. I kind of break it down into lists. So I like to make a list of all the things I'm concerned about. And they can be all of those things. I've had this conversation a little bit where I said like, you can have, I have the dog that I need to give a bath. I have all these, I have papers that need to be submitted. I have to go to the government office to get that license for the thing. And I have all these things, and my brain says they're all level 10 important, and I get all wrapped up and worried. But when I use my breaking things down and things are probably actually okay skills that I'm working on, I find that by writing it down, writing all of them down, and then sorting them into boxes, like this has got to be done by December, this has got to be done by today, it's really a lot easier to go, oh, I was just overwhelmed because they were all spinning in my head. I wasn't overwhelmed because I have to do them. There's not a lot that I have to do. It just feels like a lot when I'm not concentrating on what's important necessarily. So I think that's something that I'm also working on how to handle people, working on how to handle myself around people, working on how to handle myself without any people. But I will say I'm really lucky though, because I do have a very supportive partner, and I know that that's like, it's not the only thing, but it's really, really a big thing, and I know that that's not something that everybody has available. So that kind of breaks my heart a little bit that other people don't have exactly what I have, but I'm sure that everybody will find what they're meant to find. But I do have Alex, and Alex has a degree in psychology, and he has a degree in software engineering, and he's basically just a well-rounded, quiet guy. And between the two of us, we always have a good time. We always have a good talk, and I mean, so far so good. Haven't had anything happen yet, and we've signed on for life. So far so good. 7.5 years in, and everything's going awesome. So I finished weaving in my ends for my dishcloths and for my little scrubbies. So I've got a little set of 4 dishcloths and a set of 4 scrubbies, and now I'm going to get started on another set. I'm going to use the same yarn because I have so much. If you look back here, all this is that same kind of yarn, and I want to use it up because I have a lot of that Bernat Handicrafter Cotton. Okay, so to make a washcloth, if you're a crochet person, if you're a crochet person, you may know. If you're not a crochet person and you want to know how to make a washcloth, how I'm doing it is I'm just using a 5mm crochet hook, and then I'm making a chain that is 22 long, 3, 4, 5, and then I just single crochet back and forth until I have like 24 rows. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, and 22. Now I'm just sorry. I needed to count it out because I need them to all end up the same size. So yeah. Oh, let me read another thing from the almanac because that's pretty. There are people who never really get interested in something until they find out that it's none of their business. Yes, Gray, I am making them for gifts. I am unsure of what to do for my family for Christmas, so I decided I would just start making dishcloth sets, and then I will have an additional stocking stuffer to add because I will already have sets of them. And then if I don't end up using them this Christmas, dishcloths don't go bad. Hold on. If you want to speed a package through the mail, try stamping it fresh fish. Isn't that funny? Oh my goodness. Nobody knows the age of the human race, but everyone agrees that it's old enough to know better. I just love these things. Oh, here's a nice one. I'll read you this one. It's a recipe for life. Take a large amount of laughter and some teardrops mixed with sighs, and add to this some sunshine and the smile of merry eyes. Put into cups of morning dew, diluting it with rain. Stir it well with happiness, but season it with pain. Pour this in a golden cup, buttered well with strife. Wrap it round with problems, and there, my friend, is life. Isn't that nice? Oh, I love it. I love this book too because it's not even ignoring the fact that it's not all sunshine and rainbows in that poem. I don't know. I love old things. My grandpa gave me a couple of books. He gave me that one, the Almanac, and then also a book about 2 giants from Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia's 2 remarkable giants. The heartwarming story of Anna Swan, Canada's only giantess who rose from humble beginnings to world renown. It's just, like, when is this even from? It's published in Nova Scotia. It's just like a little Nova Scotia book. And I love that. I love little old things. And I love that my grandpa just has these things. Like this one, I was so excited to get. It's Ontario, a celebration of our heritage. So I'm from Ontario. And inside of this book, there's pictures of like my city, Toronto. There's pictures from above from like 1800, and there's pictures of basically my neighborhood because I live right downtown. So the pictures are of the downtown core. And I love that. I love it. I love looking at it and feeling like I'm connected to it. I like that. And it's a beautiful book. Like it's a passed downable book, which I like. Anyway. So happy Monday to those of you who are here. It's, what are we at now? Almost 8 o'clock? Yeah, 7:45. And I've been talking a lot about love, conflict, conversation, communication, and how those things are important to know about yourself and about your partner. So hello, Janice. Nice to see you. That's kind of what we were talking about today. And it's what I've been thinking about for some time. I think all of my live streams kind of dip into this because it's in my head often. So I've been thinking about it. And I've been thinking about, I kind of have been going over all of the relationships that I have in my life and considering how I've been talking about it, like how I've been thinking about it. So like the relationships I have with my friends and family, I'll look at them through this new lens and say, like, what have I been doing? Have I been affecting it negatively? Or is this a thing that has always been there? Or am I doing something? So I don't know. I'm trying to think a little bit more in terms of that lately. I don't know. It's hard to explain because it's inside of my head, but I'm doing my best, if you understand. And if you just showed up, I am making dishcloths. Do you think a set of 4 is good, or should I do a set of 6 or 8? Oh, good morning. Nice to see you. I don't know. I think 4 is fine. I think like when you buy them, they're in a set of 4. So if I gift them in a set of 4, I just think like when I have cloths, I want like 1,000, but I don't want to make 1,000,000 for each member of my family at the same time because this is like sore on my wrists. These, because you have to work tight. So it's like this repeated wrist motion, which gives me strain. And then I have a hard time working on my sweaters. Oh, woe is me. I crochet so much. But yeah, anyway. Hold on the phone there. Also, this color is called something cute. It's called Coral Seas, in case you were like, I love the color. Isn't it cute though? It's the Bernat Handicrafter Cotton. I like this stuff. It's not good for garments because it has 0 stretch and it's not very soft, but it is really nice for bags and like table runners and tablecloths, that sort of stuff. It's good for that. It's also good for when you're making an outfit for a baby photo shoot. It's not good for like an actual baby outfit, but it looks really cute on camera. It photographs really well. The texture of the stitches and the colors come out really nice when you take photos of them. So it's good for like photo shoot clothes for babies. At least that's what I have found. Yep. And bags, you can make bags out of it too. Kind of lost my train of thought, or I lost my gusto. Oh, good morning, Mary. We are just in a bit of a lull now, so I guess it's a great time to join. In a bit of a lull because I had a whole motor mouth tirade of talking, and now I'm trying to discover. I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go. 4 is great. Do you have lists for Christmas? Well, my sisters and I, what we do is we all join in on the same notes app in our phones and we make lists. So I have lists from what they want, but this is more like the filler things. Like in my family, Christmas has always been a little bit of we go a little overboard. We don't mean to. Every year we don't mean to, but my mom, it's her favorite time of year, so she loves the whole atmosphere of it. So I'm trying to fill up other it's the additional gifts. This isn't like the central gift. Each person will let me know what they want me to make, and that's my plan for like the main gift, but I want there to be like a couple of things to open. I like opening a couple of things, so I like to have a couple of things for each of them to open. Pretty much. This is a filler. So I'm making dishcloths as fillers because everybody needs them. It's just like when you get socks for Christmas, except for I literally would never make everyone in my family socks because it would probably cause me to have a bad reaction to ever making socks again. The first pair of socks I make are going to be for myself. That's pretty much a guarantee. Plus, I think you have to knit socks. Can you even crochet them? Like with having the right amount of stretch. Crochet doesn't stretch very well, like the way knitting has a lot of give. So yes, they are for Christmas gifts. I have lists, but the lists are not for dishcloths. I'm just doing that because it's a quick and easy addition to everybody's gift. Yep. And I might do like soap or candles to go with it because I have lots of beeswax or like some kind of body like rub because I have lots of beeswax and lots of shea butter left, and I have essential oils, so I could end up doing some kind of soap, something like that, for them to go with the dishcloth so that it feels like a bath set. Yeah, you can crochet socks. I've seen Mikey from the crochet crowd do it too, but they're like big chunky socks. Like what I'm thinking is I'm looking for like more like daily warm socks, but like I'm thinking like how thick of a material that is. That's not what I would wear. Like I would wear it over socks to do this. You do crochet? Okay, well, fine then, guys. Do you guys have, other than Mikey from the crochet crowd, who I do love, how did you learn? Did you learn from a specific written pattern, or did you do video tutorial, or anything helps because it's going, like, I'm gonna hate doing it. So whatever you found to be the easiest, that would be. I want to not hate doing it, but I usually only get through the first thing because I don't like making them. So, but I want to make them because I want to have all handmade socks. My goal is that anything in my wardrobe that can be handmade, I would like to have it handmade. And maybe eventually I'll be rich and then I'll just purchase only handmade socks. But like right now that's pricey because the amount of time that goes in. I understand why they cost what they do, but I cannot justify having several $40 pairs of socks in my repertoire of socks. So for that reason, I want to start making them myself. But I want to make them regular socks, like with sock weight yarn. I was considering putting on my Christmas list a sock knitting machine for that reason. Like then I could just make a whole bunch of tube socks. Yeah, see, I want ones that I can wear with shoes. I want ones that I could wear with my boots and that I can wear with my shoes and that I can wear all the time because that would be what I would like. I just don't want to buy those, like packs of 10 from Walmart anymore. I don't want to do that. And I've been mending our socks as they get worn because I feel like doing that. I don't know. But video tutorial that I have to do over and over. Oh, okay. If you have a video tutorial that you always have to do, but you don't hate doing it, then please do send it to me because I want to make some sockies. Oh, that might be something fun we could do together. If there's a written pattern, maybe that would be a fun thing that we can all work on in the mornings together. Because I'm usually just crocheting something in the morning, and I'm not going to teach a tutorial on something that I don't know how to do. So that would be a good thing to do during my live stream times, because during my live stream times is when I would just be sitting with my tea watching other YouTube videos. But instead I decided to make YouTube videos instead. But thank you, Janice. I would really like to have that so I can try and make some socks soon. But I want them. I just stressed. Oh, well, it's nice to see you here. A lot of people are usually daytime working, and I find that a lot of the people who stop by here are getting ready for their workday and or have a day off. I work from home, so this is part of my workday, which is lucky, and I feel blessed. But yeah, I'm technically already at work, having my morning coffee and getting my day started before I start doing the replying to emails and the editing of videos. I have one video today that I'm gonna finish. I am guaranteeing today is the day. I've been saying it for too many days, but I have a sweater that I am sewing together. The sleeves, oh, excuse me. The sleeves are done. The body is done. It just has to be sewn together. It's all been blocked, and now I just have to sew it together. Which I'm gonna do today. And I'm really hoping that it turns out not awful, because it took so freaking long. But I do have some really cool news, actually. I have a commission. I'm doing my another sweater for commission. So this is like my second or this is my third commissioned sweater now, and I'm doing that. That's going to be for Christmas time, and it's whatever I want it to be, which is so exciting because that's, you know. Oh, Mary, do you have the do you have knit blockers? There, one sec, let me. Or T-pins. I have T-pins just shoved in everything. These little tiny, really? These little tiny T-pins, they're like $5 on Amazon. Okay, yeah, okay, so you have these. Do you have those like puzzle piece floor mats? If you don't have those, then what I would recommend is going on a floor with a carpet, because you'll scratch a hard floor, but going on a floor with a carpet and using those T-pins. If you've got a triangle shawl, is it a shawl or triangle shawl, first of all? Because if it's triangular, that makes a little bit of a difference. Oh, you have the mats too, perfect. So then you're set. What are you waiting for then? Just soak it for half an hour and then start stretching it out. Oh, the triangle ones, okay, they're a little bit stressful. The best way I found it, you can do it, first of all, totally, Mary, you can do it. But for, the way that I found for my triangle shawl is to do 3 by 3 and then put 1 in the middle. So I have 6 of those mats, and I do 3 one way and then 3 going the other way, and then 1 way farther than you think. Stretch way farther than you think. What I recommend is starting with one of the straight edges, doing your best to get it stretched out so that one of the, like, there's the 90 degrees, right? So that one of them is really tight, and then do the same thing with the other one. And as you do it with the other one, you'll find that you'll have to go back to the first one and pull it tighter. Pull way tighter than you think, because after it dries and you wear it a few times, it's going to shrink its way back to how it's supposed to feel. Just overstretch it. Yep, that's what I found to be the best, because then your stitches are straight. Whereas if you understretch it, you may have stitches that aren't actually really straight. So I shove along. Well, are you doing it with wool? Was it with wool? Because I understand overstretching with wool, how you can like rip it, but like if you're using acrylic or cotton, I don't think that it'll ever rip. I think you'd just have to be a little bit more careful with wool. Okay, if it's acrylic, you're never gonna break it. Stretch way beyond what you think you can. It won't break. You're good. Stretch it out harder than you think. Start with one of the straight ends and work your way. Start from the middle, like the point where those 2 straight ends meet, and then start pinning out this way, pulling, and then start from the middle again and start pulling the other way. And it'll end up with a straight line in the middle. You'll be good. No problem. Or a bunch of problems, and it'll be fine though. In the end, it'll be totally fine. Even if you have to repin it 1,000 times, which I did for my first triangle shawl, but it's worth it, because look how cute this thing is. This is my first triangle shawl ever. Isn't it cute? And I had no idea what I was doing, which I guess I shouldn't really give you like certain advice. Yes, I pinned down that center line to keep it straight. And then after that, with whatever I had left, I pinned this line out straight so that it could try and hold its shape. Yeah, it's definitely, I did make it, and I did a whole tutorial on it. It's on my channel already. So yeah, good wishes, best wishes with it, Mary. Good luck. I hope that it turns out awesome. I wish there was a way for me to see it. If you have Instagram, follow me on Instagram. I'll follow you back. I love seeing what people make. I love seeing what real people make. I'm getting a little bit like, not irritable, but like a little bit past interested in those like brand Instagram accounts. I'm way more interested now in like people who are just people who post things they make. It makes me feel way happier than like the staged and set up Instagrams. But that's the name of the game now, isn't it? Everything has to be fancy dancy photography, and everything has to be in a flat lay, and everything has to be perfect all the time. I think that's what I like about the live streams, is that there is no perfection with it. It makes me feel like I can just be me and just sit here doing something that I would already be doing. And it's way more honest, I find, than like any of the other ways that I can share with you guys online. I feel like these live streams are like the most honest way. I try to be myself when I'm in the videos that I'm filming, but I think the hard thing for me is that when you have to edit a video, you watch yourself speak like 100 times as you're cropping it. So then you end up having 11 or 12 times to go, I don't know if that should be what I said there. I don't know if that's the best way. So everything gets cut out. So even though I did edit the videos, it's like my interpretation of putting my best foot forward. And sometimes like some of the truth of me is lost in that, which is fine because I'm doing a tutorial video, not necessarily like a get to know me video. But I think that's what I like about the live streams, is it like brings me back to reality and like reminds me that people who are watching my videos are real people with like lives all over the world. And I think it's hard to remember that when you're looking at a video and you just see a big number. You don't see like people. So when I can see the live stream, when I can see there's just 5 of you, it's like we're just hanging out, and it feels a lot more easy and real. Although I will say, I react like inside to things. So like that person who, they're already gone, they've been gone for a while, and it's still like I'm still bringing myself down from having to talk to someone about not wanting them here. So that's something I guess I need to work on, is that realizing that even though all of you guys are real people, once in a while people who I wouldn't want to interact with could show up here. So you guys so far have all been really awesome, but it freaked me out having someone that I didn't want to have. I wasn't ready. So I think that's something I'll need to work on, is also separating myself enough to not get too involved, if you know what I mean. And thank you for checking me out. That would be awesome. Because I'm working at home now, and I always crocheting, and we both work at home, and I have my room. And then you should. Why don't you? Honestly, if you start live streaming, you're going to not be able to stop, though. I just did it because I saw the button when I was doing my upload video. There was a thing that said go live, and I was like, oh, I'll give that a shot. And then I did, and I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. Well, lucky you. They weren't a bad person, probably, but they were definitely like trying to get a reaction. Like saying, like I was just talking about my love life and my communication, and they were testing my resolve and saying that I looked like I was lying about being happy, and that they didn't believe that I could be how I am. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like having my character immediately questioned upon meeting me is like exactly what I was talking about, what we shouldn't do. So it was like, what do you mean? Get out of here. You're not invited to this. So then I kicked him out. So there's that. But yes, Janice, you definitely should try live streaming. And if you're nervous about it, do it on Twitch. There's another live stream thing. Twitch, I found, was really a nice place to kind of feel like you're doing it in secret, even though it's also the great wide web. It's very empty of our community right now. So when people are joining, they're joining out of like just interest and then they'll just talk to you. Well, I guess that's what everybody's doing here too. But I don't know anything. I think that you should try it. If you think you might like to live stream, I think you should. Just remember to make a list of the things you don't want to say, because then you won't accidentally tell people your address or your political affiliations. If that's something that you don't want to share, then make sure that you write down that somewhere and have it visible to you while you're live streaming. Whatever things you think are off limits for you, just make sure you make them clear to yourself so that you don't actually get yourself, accidentally, I should say, get yourself somewhere where you don't want to go. But if you're already working from home and crocheting anyway, it's just press play and then you're here, and it's awesome. What was the name of it again? And thank you. Twitch. Twitch, Twitch. It is a live streaming service that is usually used by gamers. Like, it's a lot of teenage and adult boys who are playing video games. But now our community is starting to make its way over there. So there's people who are doing tutorials on Twitch. But the whole idea of it is that it's live streamed and that it disappears. So you don't have a repertoire of videos as you do here. Honestly, you handled it so well. That person was trying to push your buttons, and I love when you said they could leave. I was cheering you on. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that I didn't come off as bitchy. It's not exactly my goal. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but my little guy he's dreaming. Oh, and he's barking at something. Good boy. Good boy, Thunder. Whenever he starts barking in his sleep, I try to talk to him in a lovely voice, because I like to believe in my head that he's like running through a field and like chasing after something, and I like to shove myself into his dream. You know what I mean? I like to force my way in so that he has to love me forever. Although he's a dog, so he kind of loves me forever because of that thing. I give him his morning food, so I am his whole world. And I taught him all of the things. Would you imagine that this dog knows how to, when you go like this, stick him up, he'll stick up his feet in the air, and then if you go bang, bang, he will pretend to be shot, which is awesome. And then he does roll over. He can obviously do sit and lie down. He can do speak, and he can do speak quietly. So if you say like, Thunder, speak, shh, he'll go like, roo, roo, roo. He's the cutest thing in the whole world, and he's so freaking smart. It's just that he's a Chihuahua, which makes him like a terror. He's very smart, and he's awesome when he's just at home, but he doesn't do well in the city streets. So he makes an embarrassment of us whenever we go on a walk, and that is fine with me because he gives me unconditional love otherwise. Oh, let me go back into that almanac, see if I can find a couple more one-liners. Oh, would you know? There's a poem called Gifts. So I was talking about how you give and receive love earlier, and I was talking about knowing your love language, your fighting language, and your communication style. So this kind of comes into it, I think. 'Tis not the gift which I receive that means so much to me. It is the love that comes with it that brings me joy, you see. No matter if the gift be small, it may not costly be, yet if it comes with greatest love, it means the world to me. Isn't that? Oh, bye, Mary. Have an awesome day. I hope that you get everything done that you wanted to get done today. Bye. Isn't that a cute poem, though? I love this little book. I think that I'm going to try and like spend a minute with it each morning and kind of use it how it was meant to be used, as like a overwinter text. And I'm going to learn those little one-liners and the little poems in it. I think that that would be, I wonder, I'm sure, oh, good morning, Denise. I wonder if the almanac still comes out annually in the same way. The Canadian Farm and Home Almanac. That's so nuts. Containing bits of logic, formulas for good cookery, weather prognostications, humor, poetry, and odds and ends designed for your enjoyment and edification. Isn't that cute? 174 consecutive years. Anyway, I think that's something that I want to have like each year. This is adorable. I wonder if it comes the same way though. Like I wouldn't want it if it was like in a different publishing format. I'm gonna have to go on a little deep dive. I kind of want to find all of them now though. If I know there's 176 of them, that might be something that I want to try and find originals for, because I'm like a hoarder of things that I like. Oh, good morning, Thunder. Good morning. What a nice stretch. You want to come say hello? Come here. Come here, baby. Hello. How's your morning? How's my little baby bean? Come here. Oh, hello. My little beans. He's just full of beans. There we go. Here, let me cross my legs so you have somewhere to sit. And you could sit with us while we crochet. How about that, huh? I'll just let you guys see him a little more clearly like this. There. See? Can you hold this? Oh, thank you. So good. Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought again, as per usual. I think I'm going to just finish this dishcloth, and then I'm going to begin working on that sweater that I need to finish today on camera. Not this camera, the other camera, because I need to have it done. I've already edited the whole video except for the assembly. Doesn't he just melt your heart? I know. He's so ugly, but in a good way. You're ugly, but I love you. Can I have a kiss? Thank you. Can I have a kiss? Oh, so thank you. So good. He's a good boy. Yeah. Bye, Mary. Oh, sorry. That was Gray. Yeah, Mary, take care. Sorry, I thought I read Mary as the person. Yeah. Anyway, what can we talk about now? I don't really know. I have my tea still. I whenever I'm talking, I don't drink my tea fast enough. It's already lukewarm. Well, I mean, I guess we started an hour ago. That makes sense that it's not hot anymore. Hi. Let me just, there you go. My little beans. I don't even call him Thunder for the most part. He's like Thunder Blunder, Thunder Beans, Little Bean. Oh yes, I know. I call him the weirdest names, don't I? I call him Mr. McDougal. Like, what is that? No, I don't have a P.O. box yet, Gray. I will say I am putting that on my list of things for when I hit 10,000 subscribers, because I think I've been having some companies ask if they can send me some things, and I don't really want my like private residential address out, so P.O. box is something I have been considering. But I don't know. I think 10,000 subscribers is like a good number. I don't know where I'm at now. I think I'm close to like 6,500, and that's mind blowing. I can't even. That's nuts. I know that's not a lot for like YouTube people, but like for like a person, if you think of like just like a regular person, it's a lot of people for me to think about. But yes, I'm planning on getting one. I'm thinking it'll probably be around just after Christmas time is my goal. My plan was by the new year to be at 10,000. So do you need help? Do you want to lie down, or are you trying to leave? There you go. So no, I don't have one yet, but I will have one. I mean, as long as people keep subscribing, then it'll hit 10,000. It freaks me out a little bit to think about that. But yes, eventually I will. No, I do not. But I would like to. I would like to, because then I can have like pen pals. When did you start that? Oh, I started a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, well over a year ago. It was Alex and I had a vlog channel for several years where we were vlogging every single day, which was a crazy amount of work, because every day we would vlog and then every night we would edit. It was just a lot. So we started that in like 2012. We did that for a couple of years, and then we stopped because it was a lot of work. And then I made a few makeup videos, and then because that was what was really in. And then I wasn't good at that. Like, it's not, and I bought lots of makeup products and I got really into it for a while, but it wasn't my thing. Yeah, exactly. Pen pals and crochet pals. Totally. That's what I was thinking would be cool. We could all write to each other if I had a PO box. But yeah, so then I started doing like how to fix your makeup, and I made videos on that. And then I made a couple of videos with my sister, how to cook things. And then I thought, oh, I could do sewing videos. I sew all the time. Back then I was doing like a lot more sewing. So I did like how to sew a tote bag. And then my older sister and my partner and like everybody was like, why don't you just put that all on one place? So I started Last Minute Laura. And so it's been over a year now that I've been posting videos on Last Minute Laura, but it's only been maybe 6 months that I've been posting like weekly videos. And I took a couple of months off in that space because Alex and I were launching a business at the Canadian National Exhibition. We were launching a product. So now I'm back in full time, 1 video a week with an additional several live streams a week. I'm going to do Tuesdays as the day that my videos come out. And then I think I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for live streams to try and keep the momentum. I didn't really realize that after you get 100 subscribers, it's way faster to get to 200. Obviously, it makes sense, but like it didn't really occur to me. And then once you get to 1,000, it's way faster to get to 5,000 than it was to get to 1,000. So it's picking up faster, which gives me a little bit of stress because then I feel like I owe people a video. And it's a beautiful stress because I love the idea that somebody likes what I post, but it's still stress. So it's something that I'm still working through, and I'm thinking eventually I will be totally comfortable with it, but not yet. Live streams are way more comfortable than releasing the video for me, the weekly video. Tomorrow I actually have 2 videos coming out because my tutorial ended up being really, really long after editing. So that video is long, but it's actually, I think, like you could make the thing that I'm making. So tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. there will be a really long tutorial video on how to crochet a sweater coming out. I'm not going to live stream tomorrow morning because I'm going to have to be there monitoring the launch comments on the video that comes out. So I'll be like live chatting on that video, but I won't be live streaming. So my face won't be there. I mean, I guess I could live stream. No, I'm not going to live stream over top of my video. That would be a lot. That'd be double Laura. Too much Laura. I'm so close to being done this dishcloth. I am like ready. Isn't this such a cute color though? I love these colors. Do you like all of my textures, by the way? I have this one, I have this one, and then this one. Oh, geez, Louise. Yeah. So, no, I don't have one yet. Wouldn't that be fun though? I wish I had one. I love Christmas cards, so I should have a PO box so then I could say to everybody in all my videos, send me Christmas cards. I just like the fronts of them. Like, yeah, I love the inside messages too, but I love the idea of trying to find something to do with the Christmas cards after. You know, like when you were in grade school and you would bring in a Christmas card and then you would make like a lantern out of the Christmas card by cutting in them and folding them and stuff. I used to love that. Or when you would make like a tin can into a lantern by filling it with ice and then hammering a nail into it. Did you guys ever do that? I think it would be fun doing what you love and chat. I do worry about the problem people and how to delete them on the spot. Oh, well, I just found it out. In the chat that I can see, it's just 3 dots. I can block any of you guys at any time, and I can put you on timeout, which for 300 seconds doesn't allow you to interact with anyone in the chat. So it's actually like really easy to block people out of the chat if you don't want them to be there. But that being said, this is my 6th stream, and that was the first time that I had anyone who gave me any discomfort. So to have done it 6 times before somebody showed up, I think that's pretty good. And I think that if you can just, I think that it would have been better for me to have just not even addressed them and just immediately like blocked it out. now looking back on it, because then they wouldn't have continued. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't hard. So I think that next time it'll be a lot more streamlined rather than me fumbling over what to do. I think you could also do like a list. You could do a list of words that you don't accept, or a list of topics that you don't accept, and you could put them in the description of your video. Like, also, if you are in the live stream and you comment anything regarding blah, 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 you could have like a little blurb where it's like, you will be immediately disqualified. That way nobody can be like, she blocks people rudely. You could cover your butt that way. I didn't do that, but you could. Also, yeah, fun mail would be fun. I would love to do that. Whenever I watch those unboxing videos, it's like my favorite thing. Or like mail time videos are like genuinely something that I watch. So to be able to film one would be insanity for me. Like, I think I've filmed unboxing videos when I buy yarn, and they're mostly so that I can open it. I like it. Anyway. So there's that. I think I am 2 rows away from being done, which is good, because you know when you look at a yarn for too long, you're like, I just want to work with something different. I'm already coming close to that. I think that's why I get sick of projects, is because I don't do enough color changes. That would be a way. Somebody asked me that in a comment. Would you have any advice for someone who has a hard time finishing a project? This is what my advice would be. Pick only yarns that you love, and then make all of your things in stripes or color blocking so that you could change colors, so you're always working with something beautiful that you're excited about. But you gave a warning instead of boundary, so it wasn't quite unjust. Well, thank you, and I'm glad that translated to being clear. In my head, the warning came out earlier. But yeah, pick a yarn that you love. Pick a couple of yarns you love. Pick a yarn that you like working with, and then I would say pick multiple colors and then do color changes, and also draw out your pattern somewhere. It'll make you feel more obligated to finish it. For whoever that was who asked advice for how to finish, this was on a different video, but I think it was a live stream, so if she decides to show up on this live stream later, maybe she'll see this. How I would think that you should find it easier to finish your projects if you have a hard time finishing them, then I would say what you should do is pick beautiful yarn and do color changes, because then you won't get bored of the yarn you're working with. When you do a whole sweater in one color, by the time you're working on the second sleeve, you're just like, oh, why is there no other color in here? So I think that's good advice. I hope that's good advice. All right, how big is this? Where is my start point? And every time there's a point, there's another point. There we go. Start there. Sorry, one sec. I just have to line these 2 guys up to see how far I'm going. Oh, look at that. I'm on my last row. Wonderful. And you know what, guys? I think that's where I'm going to wrap it, because I need to make myself something to eat because I am starving. And well, I'm not starving. I'm hungry. But I need to make myself something to eat, and I need to work on that sweater that I need to finish for next Tuesday's video, which is almost already edited. I just need to finish the putting together portion of it. And we've got good light now. I think that's why I did the live streams when I do, because, you know, yeah, I think I missed your entrance too, Denise. I don't know that I said good morning to you. I think I said hi, but not good morning. So good morning. So Gray and Denise and Janice, I think that's all who we've got right now, because we lost Mary. Oh, we also have Maggie's in as well, right? I think we've got you here too. So it's very nice to have seen all of you guys. It was nice to have a chat with you. And I will be back on Wednesday. Tomorrow I have a video coming out, so I won't be back. I mean, I'd love to see you in the comments tomorrow's video, because I will be there 7 a.m. So I will be watching live with the premiere. If you also watch, then you'll see me there. And if not, then I will see you again on Wednesday. So thank you for coming. Thanks for talking about what did we talked about? Oh, Brenda, nice to see you too. Thanks. I'm glad you loved it. I'm glad you guys came. And yes, take care to all of you. It was great to see you, and we'll see you again in the next one. Bye, guys. Oh, and have an awesome day. Have an awesome, awesome day too.